Don't ever underestimate the heart of a champion.
The Houston Astros are world champions for the first time in franchise history.
Don't ever underestimate the heart of a champion.
This is the Legends 34 Sports Podcast with your hosts, K. Reno and DJ Rec.
All right, it looks like we're back at you, Legends 34. I believe this is episode 22, man. You know, next month it's going to be a year.
Wow, that's crazy, man. Time flies, man, in the sports world.
Time flies when you're having fun and watching all these sports, man. First of all, man, I wanted to start off the show with, I guess, an honorable mention or a note. That Damn Sin, we had promoted on the show, trying to get his prosthetic leg in the past. If those that don't know, he recently passed away.
Right.
Which is very sad, tragic. Another life cut short, and we both know how that guy was the epitome of a hustler.
Yeah.
Constantly in the music, in the events, in the shows, in the flea markets, people's videos, shooting his own videos. I mean, almost in every capacity. I mean, rest in power.
No doubt.
That Damn Sin, man. And I'm glad everybody came out to the benefit. I believe you went a little bit later. I went earlier. Shadow,
Yeah.
Grim was there. X-Ray, I believe, a whole bunch of people. But again, rest in power to a hustler, man, like none other. So
No doubt about it, man. Respect to my brother. We got enough songs probably together to have a whole album. People don't even know.
right. Well, first things first, the NBA, of course, the Rockets, they're going through a bit of a stretch right now with some injuries. Amen Thompson's going to be out a while. Reed Shepherd, he just rides the bench anyway. But Amen Thompson's been something noteworthy because now Jabari Smith is healthy. He's back. And I noticed they're playing with the lineups a little bit, whereas like tonight, Eason started and they had Smith coming off the bench again. Again, it's kind of a musical power forwards going on with the Rockets. But they're on a 5-game winning streak. They blew the Mavericks out tonight. Actually, did you see the stats?
Yeah, I did.
67 rebounds to 32 or something like that.
Yeah, they almost reached their all-time biggest differential on the boards. So that was big.
Which the Rockets lead the league in rebounding, so that's par for the course. But as far as right now, I believe they're second, or they're tied for second.
They're third now. Yeah. When last I saw, I just got through watching that Lakers Denver game, and the Lakers almost won that game with the backup guys. No LeBron, no Luka, no Gabe Vincent. They almost won that game. They lost that game at the very, very end because Austin Reeves went off for like 30-something and 12 assists. Bronny even got some minutes, but shout out to my guy Shake Milton. The Lakers almost won that game, but by the Lakers losing, it pushed the Rockets up to the 3 spot. And really only a game behind Denver for the 2 spot. So we only a game behind, and we're in a stretch where we're playing a bunch of easier teams to beat. Got a big game against Chicago coming up tomorrow, but they still in play for the 2 spot. Denver, I think, let me see, if Denver would have lost tonight, Denver, the Rockets, and Memphis would have had the exact same record, So, and the Rockets got the tiebreak on Memphis if they do finish with the same record, so they could easily finish 2 or 3.
And that's saying a lot. One being in the West, and 2, they recently went on a little schneid where they lost
Last 6
games.
Yeah.
Still be in contention for the West number 2 spot. I don't think we're going to ever get the number 1 unless
nobody catching
Thunder has some cataclysmic free fall, but I seriously doubt that.
Yeah. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander would have to announce his retirement tonight. Yeah.
But I do want to bring up the Lakers. I guess we get to Bronny and Stephen, LeBron and Bronny and Stephen A. Smith in a minute. But I want to know, you think these Lakers are serious at full strength? You know, they've been playing good for 2-3 weeks, as Barkley pointed out.
Yeah.
And they shot up in the standings.
Yeah.
You think this team is serious after the trade?
Well, when you say serious, if you're talking about contending for the title, no. But if you're talking about falling into the category of being dangerous, then yeah, they're one of those dangerous teams that, you know, you got to be careful with. Because when you got Luka and LeBron, you got a shot. You got a chance, you know, with those 2 guys. It's all going to be based on what Austin Reeves can do, because he's clearly the third guy. He's a clear-cut third guy. But after you get past Austin Reeves, now it's shaky. Now, you know, who's is it Hachimura? Is it Gabe Vincent? Is it Dalton Connect?
Is it Bronny?
You know, I don't know if Bronny gonna see no playoff minutes unless it's a blowout. But the thing is, they are a dangerous team. They are, because you got 2 guys that can win you a game on any night by themselves. So you got 2. You could pencil them in, I would say, for 2 wins in any series they play in. You know, outside of maybe Boston or Cleveland. You know, I still think OKC is better. But when you got 2 stars, man, that's that dangerous, you just can't discount them, man. You just can't discount them.
And I was skeptical because both of these stars are pretty much archetype same player. You know, 6'7", 6'8", forward, point forward, if you will. Rebound.
Ball dominant. Yeah.
Right, there's only 1 ball for the Lakers to have, but they have made it work. I guess as reluctant as we want to be, but, you know, maybe give J.J. Redick some credit. Maybe
got to. You remember when Chris Paul first came to the Rockets?
Yeah.
And both of those guys that ball dominant, how him and James Harden gonna work. And I heard somebody say something on TV last week. Great players find a way to make it work when they play with each other. You know, they find a way to adjust to playing with each other. It don't mean they always win the whole thing, but they figure it out. You know, we can go all the way back to when Clyde, Barkley, and Hakeem was together, and a lot of people in hindsight, they talk about that era or that year as being a bust, or that time being a bust. The only bust was the years after the first year. The first year they went all the way to the conference finals, and John Stockton hit the shot that knocked them off. You know, we almost made it to that Bulls-Rockets championship. So the year was a success. It just didn't get what we thought. So at the end of the day, yeah, you know, great players figure it out. They figured out a way. If you got a basketball IQ, you're going to figure out how to play with another guy that has a high basketball IQ. That's just common sense. It's the dummies that don't know how to adjust, you know.
Right. Which we're still talking about the Lakers. You wanted to bring up this Stephen A. and LeBron.
Yeah.
The conversation, or it was an argument, or?
No, I wouldn't argue because it wasn't but one person talking. But, you know, I saw it just like everybody else saw it, and, you know, people had their opinions on it. And I was kind of split down the middle. I kind of understood both sides because the first side, people were saying, well, you know, man, that's that man's son. And, you know, he came to bat for his son, and that's what a father is supposed to do. And, yeah, while I agree with that, I also separate that premise that everybody is saying, I don't think it applies in this case because we're talking about basketball. We're talking about basketball critiques of your son who happens to play basketball on the same team as you. So if the critiques are centered around Bronny's game, then I don't see nothing wrong with that. If somebody, and this is not me saying this personally or not hearing what somebody else said, I'm just making an example. If somebody said, man, Bronny James is a terrible shooter. Oh, Bronny James, he looks like he doesn't belong. He looks like he's not, like he's intimidated. These are all basketball related critiques. They're not talking about his hair. They're not talking about his girlfriend. None of that. They're not talking about anything else. So I didn't really agree with LeBron checking Stephen A. behind a basketball critique. But I get it. And another thing, Bronny is 21, bro. He a grown man. You a grown man. You in the NBA. So that's your son. But as long as it's not personal shots or something disrespectful outside the realm of basketball, he's a 21-year-old grown man drawing a salary from the Los Angeles Lakers. He's going to get criticized just like every other player in the league. And you also have to know that by him being your son, he going to get all of the criticism that people really have the hatred towards LeBron. They really are aiming it at LeBron because by all accounts, Bronny is a good dude. He just chilling. Bronny ain't looking for no problem. He just out there living his dream. But because so many people don't like LeBron, I think that makes them root against his son, which is messed up, you know. But if it was me, and I know it's easy for me to talk because it's not me, but if it was me, I would have been training my son for these kind of moments just as much as I was training him on the basketball court with his skills. I'm training you for how the media is going to come at you. I'm training you for what certain fans who don't like me are going to say about you. I'm training you for all these scenarios. So when you walk into them, now you're like, okay, well, yeah, I knew this was coming. Because to me, I was telling my dad tonight, it's no pressure on Bronny James, in my opinion, from a basketball standpoint. And some people say that's not true, but I'm going to tell you why I say that is because he's playing with LeBron James on Los. They're not going to trade him. They're not going to cut him. His spot is safe as long as LeBron is in a Lakers uniform. So I would come out and play free as a bird if I was him. So, yeah, the altercation, it wasn't an argument because Stephen A. was like this the whole time, just like a little child on punishment, just taking it. You know, and I heard his reason why he didn't say nothing back. But either way, you know, that's all I got to say about it.
I guess my concern would be, I mean, I know it's his son, but is Bronny legitimately taking the spot of another chance or opportunity for an NBA player? But, you know, LeBron's been in the league 20 years. I guess he's paid his dues.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, this is his son.
He's earned the right to implement a little nepotism. He's earned that right.
Right.
And like I say, this is the example I use all the time, Doug. I say, if you never knew that was LeBron's son and you just saw him on the court, like I watched the whole second half of the Denver game tonight, he didn't look bad. You know, and he was playing against Denver's main unit. He was out there with Joker, Westbrook, Jamal Murray. He was out there against that unit. You know, I saw him shoot one air ball, you know, but he had 5 points, you know, played about 13, 14 minutes. He didn't look any different from any other player that's a bench guy that comes in and gets some spot minutes. Didn't look any different. And to me, he hasn't looked any different. He's had some games where he get mixed up, but that happens to the pros. I mean, to the best of them. So no, I don't think that it's a matter of like, we can look at a lot of guys and say they're taking somebody's spot, but you know, it would be blatantly obvious if he was so bad that he just look like me out there or something. You know what I'm saying? That would be somewhere you look at it and say, nah, man, you got to get this dude out the league, man. And I just don't see that. I feel like he's an NBA player that has a long way to go, a lot of work to do, but he don't look bad out there. He don't look out of place and out of sorts out there.
But mention that we're on this nepotism topic. Don't Giannis got one brother or two brothers that play on that are on?
Yeah, Thanasis plays on the Bucks with him, and it's the same thing. Right. Giannis is a superstar who brought the second title to the Milwaukee Bucks since Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and Oscar Robertson was playing for the Bucks. He brought them a title in recent years. Within the last 3 years, he brought them a title. So, and he's their franchise marquee, face of the franchise guy, one of the top players in the league. He has the right. If you want to keep me, which I know Milwaukee, the small market NBA team, they're not New York, they're not LA, they're not the teams like that. If you want to keep me, all I ask is you keep a spot for my brother. That's all I ask. Y'all ain't got to play him unless we blowing somebody or getting blowed out or blowing somebody out. But yeah, I want my brother on the team. And the same thing with Giannis's brother. He's not a scorer. He's not Giannis. But when you see him come in the game, he's hustling like a dog. He's rebounding. He's playing D, taking charges. He's running. He belongs in the NBA. He's an NBA athletically talented guy to be in the NBA. Nepotism has been going on since we can think of. Look, the franchise that Bronny plays for is owned by Jeannie Buss, who would not be the owner if her daddy, Jerry Buss, wasn't the owner and said, hey, baby girl, this is your team. She wasn't going to rise up in the ranks and just become an NBA owner. You know, so, I mean, there's nothing wrong with it to me.
Me neither, man. That's just part of any business, really, man. Nepotism, you know, and every...
Wouldn't you do it? Right. I'd do it if I could.
Right.
You know? I think only the hardest of the hard, those parents like, no, you got to earn your way just like me. You know, I'm a billionaire and I'm making my son work at McDonald's or something like that. You know? Go pick up some aluminum cans. And nah, man, I can instill a work ethic in you without having to send you out to do that.
Right. And you brought up the Nuggets tonight, which was another topic I wanted to bring up, and I'll text you on this when it happened. And you called it, man. It like echoes in my mind every time I see Joker accomplish some new feat, right, of new statistical record, right? And he had a 30-20-20 game. That doesn't do it to service. Doesn't do it service because he more had like 22 assists, 21 assists. Right? I mean, you said it best, man. This man is mastering basketball.
Yeah, absolutely. He plays at his own pace. He understands. See, the great players not only understand what they want to do and what their team wants to do, they understand what the other team is trying to do. So he knows how the other team is game planning for him, game planning for the team. He knows his team. He knows what guys are going to be at. And he takes what's there. He's like one of the poster children for taking what the defense gives. It's like he may have games where he says, I'm going to aggressively go out to try to score. But for the most part, he see, okay, they doubling tonight. Whoop, whoop. Oh, they playing one-on-one tonight. Let me score. You know, just what it is. And he's going to rebound. He's figured it out. It's a triple-double is not something that he has to force. You know, he just gets it because throughout the course of the game, his play is so all around that he's going to get the points to rebound. So he's averaging a triple-double. He's averaging 20-something, 11 or 12 rebound, 10 assists. You know, his average is a triple-double right now. So he'll become, the third guy to ever do that if he holds up. You know, Russell Westbrook and Big O and now him. So,
which Westbrook plays on the team with him. We'll go figure.
Oh, they've done it. They've done it together.
Right, a few times already.
2 or 3 times this year. Yeah. So because Russ still got a lot in the tank. Russ was so smart to just accept his role, to accept the fact that, okay, teams don't look at me as Russell Westbrook, all-star, superstar. I can be Russell Westbrook, role player, and help a really good team, and go to a team that actually wants him now, not a team that's going to try to blame him for everything that goes wrong. So, I'm pulling for Russ, unless they play in the Rockets.
Well, they're looking good, man. The Nuggets, so are the Thunder. Who knows if they made up in the playoffs? If the Thunder can even beat the Nuggets come playoffs, who knows? But you got SGA and now it looks like Joker going to battle for the MVP. Take your pick on that one, man. But I guess it'd be SGA because the better record.
Yeah, he's been more dominant all year as a player. He's been consistent. He's not going to have the rebounds and assist numbers like a Joker would have to make it look like this guy average a triple-double and don't win MVP. But his leadership and where he has that team, they so far ahead of the second seed, like you mentioned earlier. It's like, and normally that's what they reward. They reward best player on best team. That's supposed to be the criteria.
Curry, I'm still bitter over that.
Right, exactly, because they didn't stick to their own rules.
I'm sorry, it was Westbrook at the time in Harden, and they gave it to Westbrook because he was averaging a triple-double.
Yeah, but see, they broke the rule, but according to their own rule. But I think that SGA will get it, and it could be. It ain't to say that Joker. I bet Joker gets some votes. I guarantee he gets some votes because you're looking at the numbers and it's like, and if they finish number 2, then people might say, okay, well, yeah, SGA, he's number 1 seed, but these guys are number 2. So it's not far off, even though they'll probably be double digits ahead. But, I just would give it to SGA for the consistency throughout the whole year. They've been dominant from day one. Joker and them start out kind of slow and, they've been dominant from day one. And then sometimes you always got to factor in voters fatigue. It wouldn't be voters fatigue for me because I'm picking SGA. But kind of like a Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson situation where Lamar had better numbers this year than he had the years he won MVP. And they gave it to Josh Allen, because then some people said voters fatigue and all that. But, yeah, I'm going with Shea this year if it's me.
Right. And I guess one of the last topics we'll bring on the NBA is Cleveland's currently 55-10.
Yeah.
15-game winning streak, maybe 16 games tonight.
16 tonight, yeah.
Right. They might go down as one of the best records in NBA history, up there with the Bulls, up there with the Warriors.
Well, they would have to win out because the Bulls were 72-10, the Warriors were 73-9. They got about that pushed them at 17. They got about 16, 17 more games left. If they go 15-1 the rest of the way out, then absolutely if they finish the season with 11 or 12 losses, then if you finish 70-20, anything touching 70 wins puts you as one of the top records of all time automatically. Because you got teams that won 69, 68, 60. The Rockets won 67 the year that they lost in Game 7 to Golden State. So when you touch 70, you got to close it out. You got to seal the deal because you got to remember the 73-9 Warriors didn't win the championship that year. LeBron didn't win the championship that year. Right. So it looks good regular season, but like what they said don't mean a thing if you ain't got that ring. And that's what it boils down to, because you got to look. OKC is right there. If Cleveland drops by chance, loses 2 in a row, and OKC wins, then all of a sudden OKC may have a what's OKC's record? They
got 12 losses, I think. 50.
Yeah, so they're 54-12. They're only 2 games behind Cleveland is great as Cleveland. Cleveland has had 3 14 or more game winning streaks just in this one season. 3, So that's strong, but OKC is right there. So we'll see. It will be a cool finals. I'm not one of those people who I don't have to see Boston, LA, LeBron this, Steph that. Now, hey man, if Cleveland and OKC end up in the finals, I would be just as interested to watch that as I would be. The only way I could be more interested is if the Rockets was in it. I just know we're not ready yet.
Well, who would have thought, man? It's kind of crazy. If you were to go back to the beginning of this year and say, Cleveland's going to be trying to touch 70 wins, we would have laughed. We would have thought that was the craziest thing in the world. But here we are talking about that. So,
but you look
kudos to the Cavs organization.
Look at their pieces, though. They got 2 big, practically 7-foot guys with Evan Mobley and Jared Allen. You got to have big, athletic centers and power forward. That's them. Both rim protectors. You see what I'm saying? Both can score a little bit. Mobley's more versatile. Then you got 2 dynamic scoring guards, Mitchell and Garland. They have a really good team, and they got a strong bench, and they picked up that kid Hunter in that trade. They haven't lost since they got him. Another athletic big that's versatile. They got a strong, and they got shooters all around. So, man, it wouldn't be far-fetched to see them, win the whole thing. But when you look at OKC on the other side with Holmgren, Hardenstein, they match up. Shea, Jaden Williams, they match up. So that'll be a hell of a series, man. That'll be a hell of a series.
I agree. I like to see that too, man. Fresh meat. Meat.
Shout out to the Rockets though, because we've already passed our win total from last year.
Yes.
Won 41 last year, 42 wins already. Shout out to Ime Udoka.
Yes.
Because he is absolutely responsible for the culture change and that mindset that got us back on the winning track, man, because we won more games in just this season, not even 2 full seasons. We've won more games than we won in the whole 3 years prior to that, winning 19 and 20 and 21 games. So yeah, coaching matters.
Yes, this is apparent with the Rockets. Before Ime Udoka came here, you remember what drudgery went on with this team. I mean, it was very sad.
Don't remind me.
I think that's going to wrap up the NBA unless you got something of...
Nah, just...
Well, I guess we're going to move on to the NFL, and that's the Texans. Boy, they're making a lot of moves, moving a lot of cap room. I believe they're still got moves to make. That's what they're saying. And I wanted to go through some of these real quick. I got a whole list here, kind of a rapid fire, if you will. First of all, we went out and got C.J. Gardner-Johnson, safety from the Eagles. That's going to be really nice. Got a push from the back. They went out and got Christian Kirk from the Jacksonville Jaguars, a little receiver, and they made a trade. They traded Laramie Tunsil. Sorry, I'm going to clap. No more offsides, penalties. The Commander.
No more false starts, huh?
Right. And for us free agencies, they went out and got a defensive lineman. They got Sheldon Rankins. They got an offensive lineman, Laken Tomlinson. Cornerback, Tremont Smith. Linebacker, Nick Neiman. They got Braxton Berrios and Justin Watson as receivers they picked up. One from Miami, one from the Chiefs. They picked up defensive end Darrell Taylor and defensive end Casey Toohill. And we re-signed Mario Edwards. We re-signed MJ Stewart. Ngumbawale, I still don't know. I'm hanging a question mark. I don't know what their infatuation with this back is, but I digress. Defensive end, Derek Barnett, they re-signed. Defensive lineman Kirk Heinisch, they re-signed. Linebacker Jake Hansen, they re-signed. And Zach Thomas on the offensive lineman, they re-signed. Comments. What do those players really stick out as far as acquisitions?
Well, my main focus was to go straight to the offensive line. I know that the defense is going to be solid. The defense has been solid, but the guy they added, like say Gardner Johnson and all that, I heard a lot of good things about him. But my concern is the offensive line. They got rid of 3 of the starters from the offensive line, and we know how terrible the line was. Now, despite Larry Tunsil's inability to stand still on the snap, he's one of the best offensive linemen in the league. Period.
Right. He was one of the highest paid.
Yeah, and he's one of the highest paid, so that might have something to do with it, but he's one of the best. So I was surprised that they moved him. I heard some rumblings about locker room type stuff with him. You know, there may have been some locker room stuff that may have contributed to him going, but I was still surprised they let him go. But now the other 2, losing Kenyon Green, I was like, thank you. All right, cool. But when they brought in the other 2 guys that they brought in, I didn't know much about them until I read this article where it talked about how Kenyon Green had been this past year. He was the 3rd worst in the league as it relates to his one-on-one matchups, you know, getting pressure, allowing pressure in his one-on-one matchups. He was 3rd as being one of the worst. So we get rid of him. I'm like, okay, cool. The 2 guys they bring in, one of them was 4th. The other one was 1st.
Right.
So it's like the line, by those numbers, they brought in guys that are worse than the guys we let go. And like I say, you know, Tunsil was one of the best. He just was jumpy, you know. So now looking at this, I got more concerns about the offensive line because I'm like, wait a minute, why would y'all bring in guys that are worse? We should just roll the dice with what we had if that's the case. But to your point, maybe they're not through, you know. My dad even said, okay, well, they may go into the draft. And that may be true, but I'm just one of those people that I don't know what a rookie offensive lineman is going to be able to do unless he's just that dominant. You know, the rest of our roster is absolutely set up to win now. The defense is clearly set up to win now. We got the quarterback. We got a franchise running back. We got a top receiver. I think we need to do something more with the receiving core. You know, the receivers got to get better. We can't come into the season with what we got. You know, I saw a lot of receivers floating around. They was talking about Cooper Kupp. He signed with Seattle today, and others that bounced around. DK Metcalf ended up with Pittsburgh. But they got to get better at the receiving position. But I don't care what happens. If that line ain't right, man, it's going to be another year like it was, man. They got to block for CJ, man. He'll pass for 5,000 yards if they block for him.
Right. I'd like to believe maybe these offensive linemen that were with the Texans were not conducive to the pass blocking that this new offensive coordinator, Nick Cale, I believe, has come in and is maybe he did an assessment of and watched tape and it's like, you know, these are not really the linemen block the schemes that we're going to try to accomplish with, you know, my direction. Again, I'm trying to be positive here because
no, that's a good point.
Moving these offensive linemen and moving in new ones. So
I hope you gave me like one little grain of optimism when you said that because I didn't think about it. You know, maybe this guy can put them in better positions to be successful than where they came from. But when I saw that we had this guy was the number 1 worst and the other guy was number 4, it's like, oh man. And then we got rid of a top lineman, all pro lineman. Man, they can't be through. It got to be something else, man, because if they're not blocking for this guy this year, man, it's going to be terrible. I don't want to see this dude running for his life all season again, and then in critical moments, third downs and playoff games, and just like the other teams apply pressure. Just bring them, blitz, come. We got to get these teams honest. We got to get these defenses to play honest and straight up, so CJ can play comfortably and show, how great a quarterback he really is.
Right. And again, the drudgery of last year and seeing, like you said, him at times run for his life. Whereas the year before, it seemed they had things kind of going in the right direction, and he had almost a rookie record year. And then last year, it was a disaster sometimes. Sometimes when they, like I was saying, I've been saying on the show, from the kickoff under Bobby Slowick, from the kickoff, they get the ball at the 20, 30-yard line, and they set up the run between the tackles. There was success there. But when they got it down into the red zone, it's when it seemed to all fall apart. Again, Slowick calling different sets, weird plays, offsides penalties, Stroud then getting sacked. It seems like the closer we got to the end zone, the second year, last year, all this mayhem and chaos, rose its ugly head. But let's hope this new offensive coordinator and all these new acquisitions can maybe solve some of that red zone chaos, if you will. And they need a steady hand. Again, teach this kid. I say kid, Stroud is young. Teach him how to play NFL quarterback the right way. And I feel that and I'm glad they made the moves they were, because they were heading down the wrong path with him, teaching him how to not play football, teaching him how not to, when did you see Stroud call an audible? I'll wait.
Well, and then that's another thing. It's like, we don't even know if he had the permission, I would say, to call, because sometimes an offense coordinator or the head coach is called to play, they are like, this is the play. And if anybody gonna change, it's gonna be me. I don't know if he had the credibility yet to be able to say, okay, hey CJ, if you see something you don't like out there, switching to this or switching to that. I don't know. But, I think that he has a real good mental feel for the game. But again, everything with me starts with that line. I don't care what play you run. I don't care what scheme, how intricate and how great it is. If you don't have time, if the second you snap that ball, these dudes is in your lap, it's not gonna matter who the offense coordinator is. It's not gonna matter if they go into a lab and create Brady Montana. If you're a quarterback, his name is Brady Montana. It's not gonna matter, because you got to have to look what happened to Mahomes in the Super Bowl. When they pressured, the way they pressured that dude, he looked like a mediocre basic quarterback in that Super Bowl, because he was running for his life every play. And they sacked him 6, 7, 8 times?
Yeah.
Yeah, so everything starts at the line, man. I wouldn't care if Bill Walsh was the coordinator. If that man don't have time to drop back, survey a little bit, it's over. It's not gonna matter.
Well, these are some exciting acquisitions of some moves here, and hopefully they're heading in the right direction. And like you said, maybe there's still more to come. I'm hoping a tight end in the mix, whether free agents or in the draft or both. because this offensive coordinator, again, I mentioned on the show, he won a ring with the Patriots being a tight end coach years ago. So hope he can bring some of that luck.
I never understood why the Texans organization has never been big on utilizing the tight end. And I'm gonna prove my point right here on Legends 34 tonight. I want you to tell me, Doug, who is the greatest tight end in the history of the Houston Texans?
Owen Daniels.
Yeah, look,
out of my hat.
Yeah, and it took a while. It's like we don't have one. Now we may have a guy who's has the best stats based on maybe longevity or based on the era he played with quarterback, but we don't have a tight end. We don't have a great.
I one up you. How many Pro Bowl tight ends have come out of the Texans organization?
That's what I mean. It's like if these guys are mediocre, they definitely weren't in the Pro Bowl. So to have an organization that's been around for over 20-something years, and we struggle to even come up with, because I can name, if we talk about running backs, I can say Arian Foster. If we talk about receivers, I can say D Hop or Andre Johnson, and now Nico Collins. I can say Deshaun Watson as quarterback. I can even say Matt Schaub to a degree. Any quarterback that led us to a playoff. Well, I'm just saying quarterbacks that led us to the playoffs and got a win, maybe got us to the next round or whatever. I can name defensive players that we've had on this team, but I cannot name any tight ends because we just never use that position. We've never had a coach or coordinator that put the kind of value on that position that Kansas City does and won 3 Super Bowls, that New England did with Gronk and won 6 Super Bowls, that the freaking Dallas Cowboys did with
Novacek,
and won Super Bowl. You have to use your tight end, bro. Tight ends help you win. So I hope this dude is a tight end guy, and because they're such a bailout, they're such a good outlet for a quarterback when there's nothing else there. How many times now Travis Kelce ain't did jack hardly this whole playoffs or really this season? How many times in that playoff game against the Texans did Travis Kelce catch a third down or a big play when we really needed to stop, and he catching that ball and doing that little reverse the other way? It's like, and the guy on the announcer said, Travis Kelce hasn't had a playoff game like this in a long time. Who's your tight ends, man?
Yeah, he's so nice to throw to a tight end in the end zone from your knees for a touchdown.
I remember what happened to Brevin Jordan. Where's he at? Is he still on the team?
Right.
I remember the long run he broke off against the Browns in last year's playoffs. I'm like, man, use your tight end, bro. It's crazy. Just common sense.
That's always been a question mark. You're right with the Texans, not just as a receiver, but as a lineman, which goes to show
blocking. Yeah, and they definitely need that.
They're blocking offensive line, right? You gotta have a tight end that can block and be a receiver. You know what I'm saying? So,
it's frustrating. Now, technically, they'll say, "Well, the Texans got a tight end. We got Schultz. Man, this dude dropping passes, and he's not that guy, man. He's not that guy, man. We got to get somebody in here. Now, like I said, maybe the coordinator will find a way to use him a little better, but until I see it, I won't believe it.
I believe it. You're right. I'm right there with you.
Even when I see it.
But one thing I want to go back on about, you were talking about receivers, they got to get better at the receivers. Well, I wanted to add to that, they need to get healthy, right? You know, with Tank going down and then Diggs going down.
Diggs might be gone.
Have you followed Diggs' story? Is he not coming back?
That's why I say.
Well, here's the question. Is he healthy to even play next year? I mean,
but see, it's similar to Tank. I'm not even counting Tank Dell this year.
No,
because he got hurt so far into the season this year that his rehab, 10 games in, we probably won't see Tank Dell, you know? So if we're looking at Tank Dell, my scenario will be, okay, Texas get in the playoffs. Okay, maybe Tank Dell can play by the first game of the playoffs or the last game of the season. I'm not even counting him season-wise. Diggs may go. So now you're still in the same boat with Nico. That's why they've been throwing it all over the sports shows. Who would the Texans target at the receiver? That's why the Cooper Kupps was coming up. That's why a while back, Amari Cooper's name was coming up. Good names that I was like, okay, we can get him. Then they end up going other places. And now it's getting thin. You know, find your receiver. What you going to draft one? But they need a legit threat on the other side of Nico to where all the attention can be focused on Nico. You know, and then the other guys keep getting hurt. You know, at the beginning of the season, that receiving core looked deadly on paper.
Yeah.
Then you got Tank, Nico, Stephon Diggs. Ooh, that's deadly. You know, now and now that turned into Nico, Meshy, Robert Woods. That's not gonna get it. It's not gonna get it.
Hutchinson, right? Just kind of
get it. Yeah.
Island of broken toys, if you will.
Yeah. So I mean, we gotta load this guy up, man. We gotta get this guy some bullets, man, to shoot with, to maximize what he's capable of. You know, I don't want CJ having to take out running every 2 or 3 plays. And, you know, the more you run, the higher your risk is to get your head knocked off, man. And, you know.
You don't get any easier, especially this upcoming season and all the moves that are being made. It's been a busy offseason. It's been a while since I've seen this much musical chairs, if you will. I mean, you got players going, switching all over. Devontae Adams is another one. He ended up with the Rams, right? That was one of another.
Yeah, these guys, we missing these guys, man.
Right. You hit it on the nail, man. Metcalf ended up with the Steelers. The Steelers ain't even decided who they're going to be their quarterback.
Yeah, they ain't got a quarterback yet. They looking at Aaron Rodgers and some other guy, but you do what you got to do. You fill in pieces as fast as you can, with the anticipation that, okay, we're going to fill in the big spots. But, hey, man, I would love to have got a DK Metcalf or somebody like that. You know, I wasn't really big on the Cooper Kupp conversation because, you know, he just seemed to be breaking down. And he haven't been the same since that big year, since that Super Bowl year. But it'll be better than what we got now, you know.
Right. And what I was about to say was that the Steelers don't have a quarterback, but they found out who they did not want at quarterback, and Justin Fields went to the Jets. I think that kind of surprised me. But he got a good deal, 2-year deal, $40 million, something like that, and now the Jets are going to see what they can do with Fields. So
we'll hitch their wagon to him. You know, I was surprised because I knew Russell Wilson wasn't the answer. I've had arguments in the gym behind that, but Justin Fields was 4-2 as a starter before they gave the job to Russell Wilson. I would have liked to seen him get another chance with Pittsburgh, but maybe they just didn't feel like he was the guy, or maybe they already had in their mind, we're going to target a bigger fish, which, you know, even at 40 years old, Aaron Rodgers is probably a better player than Justin Fields, and definitely Russell Wilson if the right pieces are around him, you know. So definitely the arm, you know, definitely the IQ, the arm, the accuracy and all that of Aaron Rodgers is superior to any of those two guys. But, you know, I would like to see him got another chance.
Well, I was looking at the stats. He played over the full season last year and had pretty good statistics. And he threw a lot of interceptions, but good yardage. He had some touchdowns. Again, he played almost every game. So he's still very serviceable quarterback. I mean, his numbers are comparable to Stroud, even though Stroud had a down season, I guess, compared to his rookie season. But
yeah,
well, we still don't know. Where Rodgers, or he gonna retire? Or, hell, who knows?
I think he'll play one more. I think he'll play again because I don't think he's satisfied with how he's looked the last couple of years. So I think he wants to try one more time with a team that could be a contender. But that was the thought coming into the Jets because the Jets had that dominant defense. So they was like, if we could just get a quarterback like Aaron Rodgers, and then he got hurt. And then last year, for whatever reason, he just, didn't look all that great. And like I said, plus he getting older. So, but I think now you talk about now you got Pickens and you got Metcalf, you got the receivers, running game decent. The organization and the coach staff and the coaches in place. So, he may give it one more shot. He may try to pull a Peyton Manning, you know what I'm saying, and sneak in one on the way out, if possible. But it's going to take a lot because Baltimore ain't going nowhere, Buffalo ain't going nowhere, Kansas City ain't going nowhere. And hopefully Houston can get his name in that conversation with those teams.
And speaking of Baltimore, DeAndre Hopkins landed with the Baltimore Ravens.
I don't know why he just won't come back to Houston, man. I don't understand it. Maybe he's upset. None of those people are here no more, man. Bill O'Brien's gone. I wish he'd have came back. I wish he came back last season. I mean, because he's not a number one no more. But he would be a heck of a piece to have with the Texans with CJ. So for whatever reason, he just won't come back, man. And don't try to come back 2 years later when you have no. I wish he'd have came back, man.
He'll probably come back for a game and get his retired or something like that.
I'm gonna retire as a Texan. Nah, man. We need
as they say, a lot of receivers in their waning years end up in the graveyard of the Ravens. I don't know if you've seen that pattern, but I don't know. We'll see.
And he got. Truth be told, he may be signing just for this spot duty anyway, because between Derrick Henry carrying the ball and between Lamar Jackson taking off running with the ball, he ain't gonna get much action as a receiver. Lamar has gotten better in balancing the passing and the running and gotten a lot better as a passer, but man, you ain't gonna touch the ball too much with them two runners back there. Should have came on home, man.
My dream would be they go out and make a trade and get Mark Andrews, huh?
No, I don't know.
But I don't think the Ravens are that upset with him. What do you think?
No, I am. I don't want that dude. Mm-mm.
No, you don't want him dropping it.
He made me wonder. I said, man, that dude throwing the game. The fix is in. When he fumbled, I was like, okay, it happens. When he dropped that 2-point conversion that could have tied, I was like, oh, no, man. That's like right breadbasket, bro. I ain't touching Mark Andrews. Nope. Sorry.
Well, maybe they'll go get Likely, one of their
great tight end. He's an all-time great. But that snake bit me. Mm-mm. Yeah.
Well, I think that's going to round it up for the NFL. I guess unless you had anything else.
I can't think of nothing else in the NFL.
And there's not a lot of Astros news. They're playing decent in spring training. They moved him out to the left field. Just still seeing how that's developing.
He looked too good today. He misjudged a fly ball that the average left fielder would have caught.
Right.
He got jammed up and got confused. But, it's just one play. But they got to fix that by the time the real season starts.
I think they're going to surprise some people, man. A lot of people are counting them out, but we'll see. It's, again, as we always say on this, it's the gospel. Let's see what that pitching is going to hold up, what it's going to do.
That's what it's all about. Now, it don't matter what they do, who they sign. If the pitching ain't right, it's not going to matter.
Well, we'll just have to see.
No.
I think that about rounds it up for this episode, man. Unless something I left out or honorable mention, or you have any new projects coming up yourself?
Yeah, your big brother always got new albums coming out. We're looking at late April on the next project called The Industry. I guess by the time this airs, it'll already be popping off. We'll be in Austin, Texas tomorrow night, South Park Coalition during the South by Southwest, doing a meet and greet pop-up shop. So, yeah, man, we on it. We working hard, man.
And if you have not done so already, subscribe to the Underground Dialogue podcast.
No doubt about it. Subscribe to the Legends 34 Underground Dialogue, and just stay posted, man. We working out here.
Awesome, and I guess that's going to round up things for this episode. Subscribe, drop a comment, tell somebody about this sports show, man. Share it.
We've been saying some good stuff. We talk better than they talk on First Take. We talk better than they talk. We talk real sports talk. We don't do sensationalism. We don't do hot takes. We just say how we feel. And we unapologetically Houston homers. So y'all, that's the only part y'all might have to get past, because it's H-Town, we riding with it. We don't care how we win, what happened. If it's H-Town, we side with it.
Right. Which I think we did leave out something. The Cougars, man. They're poised to maybe do some damage in the March Madness in this tournament. Yeah. And I think they're currently ranked 4th.
Yeah, and
I haven't looked at that recently.
The conference tournaments are going on right now. I think they beat BYU and handled them pretty good. So, yeah, now it's getting ready for the real dance. And, shout out to Kelvin Sampson, who has turned this program on. This program hasn't been as good since the Five Slammer Jammer days. And he consistently, since he took over, has had this team and no lower than the Sweet 16, Elite 8, Final Four. This team goes deep every year with different players coming in and out. And that's hard to do with transfer portals. It's hard to do with one and done players, or sometimes 2 seasons and done, going straight to the pros. So his recruiting is on point, and his coaching is on point because they play the same way. Not a big team, but they always
say the same thing. They're never really known for bigs, 7-footers, 6'10". Right. They're usually small, fast, 6'7", maybe.
Yeah. If they ever can get some size, they can ever recruit some size. Yeah, your rate should be dangerous, because you need those rim protectors. The further you get in those tournaments, and a lot of these teams have these big 6'11", 7 feet guys, and then you're trying to guard them with 6'8", 6'9" dudes doing the best they can, but it wears down on you even if they're doing a good job. But they in position again. They can easily, they could win it all, or they could finish Elite 8, Final Four, somewhere up in there. So.
We wish them the best of luck, man. Go Cougs. Well, I'll wrap it up for this episode. K Reno, DJ Rec, Legends 34 podcast. I guess we'll see you next time.
Don't ever underestimate the heart of a champion.
Champions for the first time in franchise history.
Don't ever underestimate the heart of a champion.